I just never got around to it, as you know, life gets in the way. And now that I have somewhat of free time to try and do these videos, I thought that it would be a nice idea to make a YouTube account and try to start posting every now and then. So, a fun little fact about me is that I have been watching ASMR since I was in middle school, and that would have been 2016. So I am very, 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 very educated on the many, 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 many tingles that come with ASMR. Honestly, I think I've experienced ASMR ever since I was a kid, and honestly, who hasn't? You know, if you felt someone playing with your hair, or scratching your back, or maybe scratching your arm, if someone just got their nails done at school or something. One of the first ever ASMR artists I found on YouTube was Miss Maria from Gentle Whispering ASMR. Love her so much. I felt like I've grown with her since I've watched her at such a young age, and to see how she's grown since then, it's honestly remarkable, and you know, I'm really happy for her. You know, and recently I've been watching a couple of her videos, as well as a lot of new ASMR artists, and you know, I thought to myself, why not give it a shot? You know, I've got the tools for it, so. And you know, I thought it would be nice to read a book off of my Kindle. And, yeah, what a nice little way to start off the channel. A little bit of a warning, I might do some inaudible whispering from time to time, as well as some layered mouth sounds. So, if that is not your cup of tea, unfortunately this is my only ASMR video on my YouTube channel. So I would suggest to go find some amazing ASMR artists out there to listen to other than my unintelligible whispers and mouth sounds. I am very sorry, but thank you for supporting me. Okay, so this is a little pocket that I had bought for my Kindle. I bought this off of Etsy, and it is by Xoxo Charlie. Very cute. She had sewn this together, made like a pocket case for your Kindles. I fell in love with this pattern when I saw it online. It's very cute. I mean, look at the details. It's just a nice little flowers around here, little vines of leaves. I mean, they're everywhere and they're just so pretty and bluey. It reminds me of Bridgerton, you know. And then a cute little white bow. And then, of course, her label. And then, take it out. It might be a little loud, so sorry. Honestly, it isn't that cool. I don't have it like jailbreaked or anything to where I have a cool background or anything like that. This is the front of the Kindle, and then gotta flip it around a little bit slower in the back. I have a little Miffy charm right here. Super cute. Got it off Etsy as well. If you'd like to know where I got any of these items, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to go and find where I bought them from. And then here is the back of my Kindle. I have some stickers everywhere. I loved putting these stickers on the case. It's really fun doing that. And then a cute little jam pop socket that pops out right here. And I can also take this wanting to read this book for so long. I've watched the movie plenty of times, and I think it's just such a beautiful story. And, a lot of people have told me that the book is better. Of course, it's a cliche thing. The book is always going to be better than the movie, sometimes. But, yeah, I decided that I wanted to finally start reading it. So why not read it together, shall we? Part 1. If not later, when? Later. The word, the voice, the attitude. I'd never heard anyone use later to say goodbye before. It sounded harsh, curt, and dismissive, spoken with the veiled indifference of people who may not care to see or hear from you again. It is the first thing I remember about him, and I can still hear it today. Later. I shut my eyes, say the word, and I'm back in Italy, so many years ago, walking down the tree-lined driveway, watching him step out of the cab. Billowy blue shirt, wide open collar, sunglasses, straw hat, skin everywhere. Suddenly, he's shaking my hand, handing me his backpack, removing his suitcase from the trunk of the cab, asking if my father is home. It might have started right there and then. The shirt, the rolled up sleeves, the rounded balls of his heels slipping in and out of his frayed espadrilles, eager to test the hot gravel path that led to our house. Every stride already asking which way to the beach. This summer's house guest, another bore. Then, almost without thinking, and with his back already turned to the car, he waves the back of his free hand and utters a careless "later" to another passenger in the car, who has probably split the fare from the station. No name added, no jest to smooth out the ruffled leaf talking, nothing. His one word send off, brisk, bold, and blunted, take your pick. He couldn't be bothered which. You watch, I thought. This is how he'll say goodbye to us when the time comes, with a gruff, slapdash later. Meanwhile, we'd have to put up with him for 6 long weeks. I was thoroughly intimidated, the unapproachable sort. I could grow to like him, though, from rounded chin to rounded heel. Then, within days, I would learn to hate him. This, the very person whose photo on the application form months earlier had leaped out with promises of instant affinities. Taking in summer guests was my parents' way of helping young academics reverse a manuscript before publication. For 6 weeks each summer, I'd have to vacate my bedroom and move one room down the corridor into a much smaller room that had once belonged to my grandfather. During the winter months, when we were away in the city, it became a part-time tool shed, storage room, and attic where rumor had it my grandfather, my namesake, still ground his teeth in his internal sleep. Summer residents didn't have to pay anything, were given the full run of the house, and could basically do anything they pleased, provided they spent an hour or so a day helping my father with his correspondence and assorted paperwork. They became part of the family, and after about 15 years of doing this, we had gotten used to a shower of postcards and gift packages, not only around Christmas time, but all year long, from people who were now totally devoted to our family and would go out of their way when they were in Europe to drop by B for a day or two with their family and take a nostalgic few glasses of Rosatello ushered in the unavoidable afternoon torpor. We named the task dinner drudgery, and after a while, so did most of our 6-week guests. So at this part, I'm going to inaudibly whisper this entire section, while also layering mouth sounds. So again, if that's not your deal, then skip forward a bit. Maybe it started soon after his arrival during one of the grinding lunches when he sat next to me, and it finally dawned on me that despite a light tan occurred during his blood stains, it's clearly clear that over the color of his palms of his hands, the same as pale soft skin of his throat, the bottom of his forearms, which hadn't really been exposed to much sun, almost alike being as glistening and smooth as the underside of his belly, private, chaste, and flashed like blood on a face, or an instance of John almost ruminate. It took me thinking about him. I never did ask, and we started during those hours after lunch, about it, because it's inside and out, the whole body wall everywhere, or someone eventually, finally, suggested we head down the rocks for a swim. The discussed friends, colleagues, or just about anyone who cared to knock at our gate and ask if they could use our tennis court. Everyone was welcome to lounge and swim and eat, and if they stayed long enough, use the guest house. Now we are back to whispering. Or perhaps it started on the beach, or at the tennis court, or during our first walk together on his very first day when I asked to show him the house and its surrounding area, and one thing leading to another managed to take him past the very old forged or in metal gate as far back as the endless empty lot in the hinterland, toward the abandoned train tracks that used to connect B to N. Is there an abandoned station house somewhere? He asked, looking through the trees under the scalding sun, probably trying to ask the right question of the owner's son. No, there was never a station house. The train simply stopped when you asked. He was curious about the train. The rails seemed so narrow. It was a 2-wagon train bearing a royal insignia. I explained. Gypsies lived in it now. They'd been living there ever since my mother used to summer here as a girl. The gypsies had hauled the 2 derailed cars farther inland. Did he want to see them? Later, maybe. Polite indifference, as if he'd spotted my misplaced zeal to play up to him, and was summarily pushing me away. But it stung me. Instead, he said he wanted to open an account at one of the banks in B, then pay a visit to his Italian translator, whom his Italian publisher had engaged for his book. I decided to take him there by bike. The conversation was no better on wheels than on foot. Along the way, we stopped for something to drink. The barabaracia, I'm so butchering this. The barabaracia was totally dark and empty. The owner was mopping the floor with a power ammonia solution. We stepped outside as soon as we could. A lonely blackbird sitting in a Mediterranean pine sang a few notes that were immediately drowned out by the rattle of the cicadas. I took a long swill from a large bottle of mineral water, passed it to him, then drank it from it again. I spilled some on my hand and rubbed my face with it, running my wet fingers through my hair. The water was insufficiently cold, not fizzy enough, leaving behind an unsulked likeness of thirst. What did one do around here? Nothing. Wait for summer to end. What did one do in the winter then? I smiled at the answer I was about to give. He got the gist and said, "Don't tell me, wait for summer to come, right?" I lighted besides roast chestnuts and drink eggnog. He was teasing. I offered the same smile as before. He understood, said nothing. We laughed. He asked what I did. I played tennis, swam, went out at night, jogged, transcribed music, read. He said he jogged too, early in the morning, along the promenade mostly. I could show him if he wanted. It hit me in the face just when I was starting to like him again. Later, maybe. I had put reading last on my list, thinking that with the willful, present attitude he displayed so far, reading would figure last on his. A few hours later, when I remembered that he had just finished writing a book on, I might chop this up, Heracilitus. Writing a book on Heracilitus, and that reading was probably not an insignificant part of his life. I realized that I needed to perform some clever backpedaling and let him know that my real interests lie right alongside his. What unsettled me, though, was not the fancy footwork needed to redeem myself. It was the unwelcome misgivings with which it finally dawned on me, both then and during our casual conversation by the train tracks, that I had all along, without seeming to, without even admitting it, already been trying and failing to win him over. When I did offer, because all visitors loved the idea, to take him to Sen,